Alrighty, welcome everybody. Welcome to Division B semifinals between our number 1 seed, Gambit Gaming, and the number 4 seed, Smoke. So it should be a really good matchup tonight. When they met in the regular season, it ended in a 2-1 victory for Gambit Gaming. So I know Smoke is out for revenge here, having tasted blood of their enemies a little bit in the regular season. So yeah, should have a really good matchup. This let's see, the other half of this semifinal bracket was played last night, and it was won by Came From Behind. So Came From Behind will play the winner of this game to determine, or sorry, this match to determine the overall winner of Division B. And I guess that would be a grand championship because they don't have coastals over at B. It's just it's all one, as far as I understand it. All right, some pretty typical bans coming out here. Typical in terms of the overall NGS meta that I've seen this season. A little bit of attention paid to the Vala, but also Brightwing and Johanna obviously getting a lot of love. Johanna, of course, is like, what is it? It's like 90% or higher pick ban rate throughout all of NGS. And I bet Brightwing is not too far behind. There's a Falstad ban as well. It is Garden of Terror, so no bosses, but a large map and plenty of camps to run around and do. And there's a camp tanker right there, Greymane. Like to see that. These are a couple of good macro picks. A lot of people don't think of Greymane as a macro hero, but he definitely can be, especially in terms of camping. Over on the side of Smoke, they went ahead and opted to take that Anubarak tank first. Baby Whale going to pick up that Blaze. Often a contested pick, but Dahaka was already picked, so maybe Blaze wasn't necessarily so much as contested, but it could have been banned. So they got the Rhaegar and the Blaze before this third ban phase, so instead that ban will be used on a Zeratul. Crizzo said if I don't cheer him on, he would beat me up. Yeah, that sounds about right, McGiblets. Better cheer hard. And then the Anduin is banned away, so a little bit of a healer squeeze. Probably the top, I mean, you know, the quote-unquote big three are Rhaegar, Anduin, Brightwing, and so instead we're going to see the Deckard and Diablo. All right. Deckard can be quite effective in these kind of areas where you can set up. You know your team, or you know your opponent is going to have to come to you if you can set up early, get a few potions on the ground, as well as the zone control potential in these sort of choke points and hallways that Garden of Terror can provide. I myself have lost a match almost completely because of Lornados on Garden of Terror. The enemy Deckard was just on top of it with Lornados. But rounding out the comp for Smoke, we have Junkrat and Hanzo. Both very strong heroes in their own right. I know a lot of people, including myself, would be quick to point out that Junkrat Hanzo fill a lot of the same kind of categorical roles as each other. They both are poke heroes, both are sort of body out of fights, neither one of them want to be close to anything and scrapping, as they both have very small health pools. But that doesn't mean that they can't be effective together. and the Sylvanas is picked up last for Gambit Gaming. So we've got a couple of really good comps, I'd say. Really good comps, a lot of high-tier hero picks. Both teams have plenty of wave clear, I would say. I'm just trying to think of like any advantages that either team has. I would say that they both are doing both will be having a good time in terms of camping and in terms of wave clear. There is a global on the side of Gambit Gaming, so maybe that'll have some impact. We'll introduce Smoke first. On the right, you've got Smoke. You've got Baby Whale playing that Blaze. MJH on Hanzo. Renji on Junkrat. Shonen playing a Nubarak. And Lammy on the Rhaegar. Over on the left, you have your number 1 seed, Gambit Gaming. We've got GG Crizzo playing that Deckard. Pearl Simon on Sylvanas. Alfie on Greymane. Northern Touch playing Diablo. And Chelsea on your deck, Dahaka, rather. Alrighty. Go ahead and put my Discord into streamer mode so I don't hear any little doots. There is a wave crashing top, but looks like Dahaka will get there in time to not miss out on any soak. But a little bit of chip damage already. You can see how much missing one wave crashing into your fort is actually. I wouldn't call it a big deal, but I mean that's just free damage onto the tower. Alfie is definitely in La La Land there and gets blown up by the 4 members here of Smoke. So first blood going over to Smoke. However, in the middle, we've got Sylvanas not able to crash this wave in before the rotation comes, so actually going to get stunned out of the Haunting Wave, and 50 health does go down to the Junkrat, so nice pickup there again by Smoke. 2 kills to 0 as the damage dealers from Gambit Gaming are somewhat disrespectful of the potential risk that they're putting themselves at standing in front of these members of Smoke, and they have paid for it so far. Couple kills, it's not going to make or break your game, but you can see the experience lead is already tipping towards Smoke. First objective is going to be spawning on the bottom right of the map. So it looks like Baby Whale is actually getting a lot of value. Dahaka, early game Dahaka has a really hard time clearing this Bruiser camp. So that's why that, on top of the fact that Blaze can do such a good job of sort of one-shotting waves, yeah, that's why this, almost this entire front wall is dead. So really well done there for an early game advantage from Smoke. Let's see, what did we go here? We've got a, looks like a Fire Stomp build Diablo coming out. Deckard going for Field Study and Ruby. Looks like a little counter push up here, so this is a good heads up play by Gambit Gaming to go ahead and return a little bit of this damage to the other team's fort wall rather, but actually Smoke was able to defend that pretty quickly. They only lost that top. They did lose that top cannon tower though. Just some wave clear things going on down here. And it looks like Smoke is setting up I don't know if they're gonna maybe just try to poke in with their long range heroes that they have. Maybe just make it really annoying for Gambit Gaming to actually cap this objective. We'll see. By the way, Blaze and Dahaka still brawling it out down here. Greymane chasing off the Junkrat. Here comes an engagement actually onto Northern Touch, but Anubarak says, never mind, I don't really want that, I was just kidding, and is trying to back up. Nice really quick cleanse there to make sure that Shonen didn't take any extra damage from being rooted. Oh, Hanzo actually lands the, what is that called? Is it Sonic Arrow? Onto Krizzo, as Krizzo is trying to cap that seed. A little bit of brawling going up here. Looks like the seed does get capped, as the health bars for Gambit Gaming are slowly getting chipped away by the poke damage that Smoke has. Junkrat Boop knocks Alfie over the wall, but he's able to skedaddle out of there. Sylvanas goes to work on the Siege Giant camp. And we'll stay at this zoom, I think. All right, some camp timings going down here that might be pretty good as long as they can. As long as Smoke can get this out in time and not give the objective up. They do get the cap. Now, left of their own devices, in my experience, Siege Giant camp actually wins against the Bruiser camp, but that may not be true every single time, but I have definitely witnessed that, especially if you've got a Dahaka to help you push it. Okay, the Guardians of the Seed are killed, and so now the channel is open. Nice boop onto the Greymane. Greymane's going to try to go into Worgen form to avoid the follow-up damage, but it's actually Smoke that has to back up away from the Diablo engage. Nice Deckard staying while. Everybody's still fairly healthy with the exception of Greymane, who has escaped and is going to tap. By the way, Blaze did have to come up here to deal with this Siege Giant camp. So Smoke is fighting 4v5 right now. They're trying to fight backwards, it looks like. Junkrat took a bunch of damage, but is somewhat safe in the back for now. Dahaka, actually not very safe, because Dahaka is being super annoying. Dahaka is getting kind of low, though, down to 500 health. There goes a Anubarak Cocoon onto Deckard. Dahaka is killed, actually, by the Junkrat up top. And now it's Krizzo. Tank Deckard is not going to be quite tanky enough. Can't alt-Q your way out of that one. So that's 2 out of 3 seeds for Smoke. 1 out of 3 so far for Gambit Gaming. And Smoke's going to collect this opponent Bruiser camp as a additional reward. Come on, guys. Right-click this tower. This tower got way too many shots there when it was 1 health. Yeah, let's go check out our talents again. I haven't looked at it in a while. We have seen the Cursed Bullet go off a few times. It is Wailing Arrow, Stay a While, APOC, and Isolation. For Smoke, we've got Bunker Drop, Dragon Arrow, Riptire, Cocoon, and Ancestral. Alfie comes in with the interrupt, or no, sorry, not with the interrupt. Dahaka burrows in, but it's a little bit too late. So now the seeds are actually going as this team fight starts. If Smoke is able to be victorious here, it would be huge for their push, but it is a Nubarak falling first. Krizo's a little bit low, 500 health, but is probably going to... Oh, that last Junkrat bomb was able to do enough damage to get the kill, so that's actually 2 dead at the very tail end of that fight. And that is 2 members, or really just 1 member that won't be available to defend these Garden Terrors because Diablo does spawn instantly again. Lammy is definitely gone too far there, and Greymane and Sylvanas make them pay for that. So yeah, really hyper-aggressive positions for both of these teams, and they kind of take turns getting two-for kills. Pearl Simon able to get the better there of Junkrat on his way out, and is able to escape, get a healing potion, and get back in here. But quite a lot of damage, I would say, for the first Garden Terror. There's 2 forts down, and only under half of this fort remaining. So even though there was a bunch of killing going on, I would say that that is still a pretty successful Garden objective phase for Smoke. However, Smoke is trailing in the experience by just a little bit, maybe about half a level. Sylvanas is fine. Has the double dash. Double door dash. Shonen is lining up aggressively. Here comes the arrow and a bunch of follow-up, but the APOC is going to be there to zone as well. Krizo does go down, however, so Smoke able to keep the focus and get a kill for their stun locking. However, here comes the Wailing Arrow. Lammy is having to get out of there, gets in the bunker, and continues on the way out. So a 1-for-0 in that crazy engagement. There is a lot of CC follow-up after the Dragon Arrow goes through, mostly in the form of Blaze and a Nubarak as well. So it's just a lot of CC, but I would say that the Wailing Arrow and the Apocalypse from Diablo are pretty good counter-engagement tools. If they're not caught within the stun and they're able to throw down their ults, it can make it way harder for Smoke to safely follow up on those stuns. Big stuns going down onto Nubarak. Has to burrow charge out. Alfie getting down to about half on that Greymane. And here comes the arrow is used actually to interrupt Krizo on that Deckard. As the team fight goes on, there's 2 members in the back line just ripping Sylvanas apart. Or I guess Sylvanas was in their back line, I should say. Battle going on 2 fronts here, but looks like Diablo is definitely going to get collapsed on and killed. And it is Smoke taking another teamfight victory, and yet another camp steal for it, and they'll get another seed. So now the seeds are tied up once again, 1-3. Big push here in the bottom with this Bruiser camp. This 20, is it 20 armor? Yeah. The 20 spell armor for from that Bruiser camp can often make it a enticing place to push in with your team. This camp is spawning. Smoke wants to go ahead and grab it before heading to the next objective. They've done a pretty good job. I'd say both teams have done a pretty good job of being aware of the camp timings. But this one for sure will be a delayed problem if this fight goes long up top. That bottom lane is already weakened for Gambit Gaming, so... Oh, sorry, I'm missing a big engagement going on the bottom. Dahaka has actually got down to like 90 health, but is able to get the health back up, and instead it's a dead Diablo. Shonen is going to be next, though. Both tanks looks like they are gone. Pearl Summon able to get the Wailing Arrow off, but also dies. And here comes the damage from Alfie, but oh, that is some nice Hanzo play. Just completely, I mean, basically obliterated the health pool of of Greymane there. That was crazy. And yet another seed goes over to Smoke. Yeah, that was, man. It's times like that I kind of want the instant replay to just see how much burst damage Hanzo just pumped in basically 1 second into that Greymane. It was like Q auto W, and the W landed pretty much all of the all the scatter shots. It does have the Giant Slayer as well, so each one of those scatter arrows doing 2% bonus max health damage. Renji playing around with the Lord of Terror here. Diablo does get caught in the trap and takes a bunch of health for it. And this will be seed 3 out of 3 for Smoke if they're able to collect this one. They'll have to choose which lane to go ahead and pressure if they are able to get it. I guess a lot of that depends on Gambit. Excuse me. Depends on Gambit Gaming. If Gambit Gaming gives it, which it looks like they are, then they'll have all 5 members to defend. I don't know. We'll see what Smoke chooses to do. I think if I were them, I'd push straight up the middle. Looks like that's also what they're planning to do. They've got a camp in the top lane, camp in the middle, and there's nothing to gain in the bottom unless you're going for the core. Hector saying Smoke could have ended bottom. Yeah, it's possible. But instead, we've got a sort of a slower push into their keeps. And this middle keep. Here comes the arrow going into Alfie. Alfie on that Greymane is somehow alive. The counter engages, engage tools from Gambit Gaming are able to sort of stun and disrupt enough of that to where the initial kill target didn't actually go down. And somehow nobody's dead yet, as both teams just trade all of their cooldowns. Oh, big Blaze Stun hits, but Chelsea still has enough health to soak from that Hanzo damage. Now, looks like the top keep is going to be next to go down. Sylvanas does fall as Tongue goes down, followed up by stuns into Lammy, so that's going to be Rhaegar falling. But the core's at half health, and there is a half health Garden Tear as well, so that's going to be the end of this one. Just too much hitting the core, and GG, Smoke takes it 1-0. Well played. Wow. Some really decisive team fights there by Smoke. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put a win there. Yeah, the Hanzo arrow engages were really strong. Having the Blaze and Anubarak just is so much CC, and really it's burst as well. Like, Blaze especially has burst. Anubarak has a little bit after you get your level. This is kind of the damage talent. So going Burning Beetles is not exactly burst, but whatever, just a little bit more damage. Surprisingly, a lot of the Hanzo arrow targets didn't immediately get blown up. I think a lot of that was because as soon as they would use their combo, then Apocalypse and Wailing Arrow were coming out to try to defend it. But as the team fights progressed, I think they were fairly well played, both teams, but as they progressed, yeah, just more damage, more sticking damage was coming out from Smoke. And I was really impressed with some of those Hanzo follow-up shots, not just the arrows, but the like kill shots and the scatter shots. So for my money, I would say I'd go ahead and put MVP there, but for that game. But everybody was instrumental in that 15 kill victory. Let's see. Looks like this next one's going to be on Infernal Shrines. Chosen by Gambit Gaming, I believe. So Smoke, or no, Gambit Gaming opted to go for the map pick. Easy K93 says would like to see a better draft from GG next game. Yeah, I'm not sure. Depending on the team styles, I wasn't unhappy with their draft picks. They did get healer squeezed out, so they had the Deckard, which you could argue is a bit of a liability since Deckard doesn't have any cleanses, and it is a little bit more. It's a little bit tricky to make work a little bit, I would say. But I mean, they had Diablo, they had Deckard. I mean, sorry, they had Dahaka. I think there was some. The fights were a little bit disjointed, I would feel like, and so the Greymane wasn't actually able to follow up on a lot of hard engages. It seemed like the Greymane was kind of off on an island a lot of that game. At least that's just what I remember from it. Both teams sort of had big wombo combos. You had the APOC plus Wailing Arrow going up against the Dragon Arrow plus just baseline stuns. The baseline stun brigade. Always a fan of that, by the way. If you just draft... Like, that's why Blaze is so strong. Anubarak too. But they're just non-ultimate stuns available to your team that aren't on big cooldowns. I mean, it sounds obvious, but it's like... It's always surprising to me how many drafts go, and you look back on it and you think, wow, the enemy team just had way better CC chains than we did. Or their CC was easier to target or easier to pull off, whatever the case. Also, I think picking the Junkrat and the Hanzo allowed them to poke. Smoke was able to poke the objective out a couple times when the cap was almost done, and then like a Sonic Arrow would come in, or just a random grenade from Junkrat just from downtown. So yeah, just those two heroes drafted really well onto... You can tell both players are fairly comfortable playing it on Garden of Terror. Alright, we got a draft. Infernal Shrines. Our number 4 seed taking the first victory of the night. That is good news if you're someone like me who wants to see this go kind of the distance. I would say seeing the lower placed seed get the first map bodes well for the idea of a Game 5. But we'll see. It's still early. It's still too early to call that. Smoke staying with their Brightwing band strategy. But we are seeing a bit of a swap to the Anubarak focus. Hogger banned out this time. It is a favorite pick amongst a lot of offlaners to go for that Hogger on Infernal Shrines, get that infinite spin action going on. That's usually so annoying to deal with. All right, so the entire front line is banned out this time by Gambit Gaming. I think that that's a decent strategy. Just go ahead and force Smoke to play with completely different stun chains. But we see Baby Whale snapping up the Sonya, and followed with quick picks by Pearl Simmon and Northern Touch, getting that Johanna. So yeah, with no Johanna banned, we do get to see that. So yeah, a little, as you see in a lot of these matches, game twos almost like sometimes they're a bit of a mirror, or teams react heavily to what happened in game one. So the Junkrat stolen away, and then the entire front line banned away by Gambit Gaming. So Gambit Gaming just completely making Smoke switch to a different composition altogether. But Smoke taking a bit of advantage. So since the Vala was not banned, they get to go ahead and grab that, and they'll have their Anduin as well. They'll probably ban Rhaegar here and just squeeze the healer again, like they did last time. That's my guess. It is the Rhaegar ban, so we'll have to dig into that kind of second category of healers, at least in my mind. And the way I look at healers is there's a top three, which is Anduin, Brightwing, Rhaegar, and then there's kind of like a side two. There's Lucio and Stukov are kind of like sort of S tier, but they're like off to the side. They have little asterisks on their S tier status because they're harder to use. They're a little bit more specific in how they're used and what they're good against. And then after that, there's just a ton. I think there's like a ton of A and B tier healers that unfortunately they just get overlooked all the time because the big three or whatever are so strong. But regardless of all of that, we do see the Lucio. And MJH going to happily pick up that Hanzo that's left up again. And Shonen will be on the Muradin. So still plenty of follow-up for a Hanzo Arrow. You could have Leap first and then Hanzo Arrow, or Hanzo Arrow and then Leap. And whichever comes, you can deliver Light Bomb with Sonya, or you can deliver Light Bomb with Muradin. So I would say that Smoke was able to draft a similar engagement style again, just with different healers, or different characters. But we will have Leoric picked up. So I'm looking at the Gambit Gaming draft. It looks very kind of well-rounded. You've got the long-range poke by Junkrat and some vision and bush control, but then you've got sort of the short-range burst, HP burn by Tychus. Johanna's good at everything. Let's see, Leoric means that Vala late game is constantly in danger because you can get entombed, but Anduin provides a unique way for to save any sort of entombed Vala business. So anyway, a lot of factors going on in these drafts. All right, let's introduce our number one seed coming into this game. Down one game in the series, but not out of it by a long stretch. We've got Gambit Gaming. We've got GG Crizzo on that Lucio. Pearl Simmon on Junkrat. Alfie playing Tychus. Chelsea playing Leoric. And Northern Touch on that Jojo. On the right, we've got Smoke We've got Renji playing the Vala. Sonya played by Baby Whale. Muradin played by Shonen. MJH on that Hanzo that was so effective last game. And Lammy on the Anduin. Looks like we've got a Q build Vala. So definitely going for that burst build. So Q build Vala plus W Hanzo. Yeah, definitely going to be able to blow somebody up late game, especially if they're next to a wall. Tychus going for that quarterback throw range. Like to see it. Definitely like to see it. So the only thing, now that I've had a little bit of time to think about Gambit Gaming's draft, the only thing I would say that is lacking would be the lockdown. Once again, is a little bit, or I don't know about once again. I don't know. Last game they actually had more lockdown than they do this game. Johanna is a all-around great tank, but she does not have the most, stand perfectly still here kind of ability. She's got the blessed shield, and that's it. Everything else is a little bit softer in that regard. And the reason I say that is because Tychus really likes heroes to be held still for him to do his damage. Or for them, I guess, if they wander into his range and just stand there. But a Tychus that's having to move around for his kills is doing less damage. So, all that to say that... the sources of CC for Gambit Gaming are going to be a little bit more nuanced. I think it's not going to be as easy as just kind of point and click Diablo stun APOC like they had last game. However, on Infernal Shrines, I will say that Tychus is definitely one of my favorite maps for Tychus because popping Odin during a shrine phase can be a bit overwhelming for the enemy team to try to fight into. If you can't get to the Odin, then he can just siege into your team. Baby Whale takes a bunch of % damage from that Tychus as they go through the bush. So this invade is right now a 3v3, and the rest of the team is collapsing. This last minion is still about half health. So Gambit Gaming looks like they want to collapse back onto the camp and go ahead and secure it. So well done there. They get their steal. Baby Whale's going to have to spend some time clearing that. So now with the Baby Whale was tied up a little bit, I was actually going to let that go. So we'll see how much damage that really does in the end. It's getting targeted right away, so not much damage at all. The shrine has been started. And looks like Smoke is choosing to counter push instead of try to defend. Can be a very worthwhile thing. It is obviously scouted out by the dying walls. I was gonna say Leoric scouting it out, but yeah, the little minions that are alive in those wall forts are already calling it out. Renji getting pretty low there. The Vala does die. It is a Q build Vala, so no stacks lost or anything like that. But the Mortar Punisher is going to come in here, and the defending team is on the other side of the map. So if they come down to defend, which I suppose they'll have to, it's going to take them a second. So overall, I would say that was in Gambit Gaming's favor. They were able to stop the top push from doing a ton of damage. It just took the wall, whereas they get rewarded with an entire fort here from the objective. So Gambit Gaming's is an entire level up, which I just realized. 1 kill to 0 and an entire level up. So Yeah, so far the macro has just gone in their favor. They've done a better job of picking up experience along the way. Here comes Murden jumping onto the gets booped out and the camp gets capped and he also dies. So it was an inevitable end for the Murden. And the pressure is just kept up here by Gambit Gaming. They're just constantly knocking on the door here. Taking camps, taking forts, just doing damage everywhere on the map at once. And for that aggression, they have a level and a half lead. It's almost a level and a half already. Yeah, Smoke really wants their level 10s, I think. They want to be able to do that leap. They want to be able to do that dragon arrow engage. Right now, Northern Touch is super low. Does get last hit by the aggression of Renji on that Vala, so well played there. Here comes in Entomb. Doesn't hit Vala, but does hit the Murden. Murden's going to be able to just kind of hop out of there and soak the damage of that. Vala also soaks the damage from that Junkrat Riptire. And the level 10s are out. So look for a Dragon Arrow sidestepped by Pearl Simon. Well done. Here comes the Light Bomb, not thrown, not engaged. A little bit of miscommunication there as the Light Bomb was cast onto Murden, but Murden didn't want it at that time. However, this is going to be a dead Leoric. Leoric going to get a little bit of trait value. It is a Falling Sword, Johanna, which I didn't look at earlier, so Falling Sword probably picked to try to counter some of these Dragon Arrow engages. Oh, Shonen is down to negative health, almost. Not negative health, but but 0. I really wanted Murden to escape from that, actually, so because I think I saw single digits for a second there before some healing came through. Yeah, this camp is constantly being a traitor to Smoke as Gambit Gaming is just paying them better. This will be a frozen Punisher to the team that is able to collect enough minions here. Gambit Gaming has a significant lead already, but Smoke is pushing in to try to push them back off the point. But Leoric and Johanna are not going to be all that easily pushed away. 22 to 10, 22 to 9. Stormbolt goes through, but not really a lot of damage following up onto that Johanna. Here comes Odin Pop to try to help finish off this this phase. And the Dragon Arrow goes through. Light Bomb, once again, not able to land that Light Bomb onto the backline of GG. And yeah, with the sort of fumble of that engagement from Smoke, Gambit Gaming was able to just completely turn that fight on its head. So yeah, I think if you're Smoke, you really need, I'm sure they're talking about tightening up their kind of the overlay of their engagements here. So far, it's been like I think it's a pretty much two Light Bomb whiffs. Even with the Dragon Arrow hitting that one. They are, however, burning this Frozen Punisher pretty quickly, so not likely to lose a whole lot more here. They'll lose the keep wall because of this camp is also sieging heavily into that. But down 2.5 levels, almost 3 levels at this point. It's actually crazy to me that how far down in experience Smoke is. It doesn't feel like they're losing, that they should be losing out on experience that hard. I don't exactly know where all that soak differential is coming from. So it's like 2,000 more experience from hero XP for the side of Gambit Gaming. But what other? Let's see. Yeah, 5K minion experience differential. So yeah, it's just straight up missed waves is making a big dent in that. Also, mercenaries making like a 3,000 experience difference. So I guess it just adds up. Here comes a push onto the top fort, the final remaining fort. Arrow comes through, does land on the Tychus. Tychus gets hit by Leap and Light Bomb at the same time, so that a little bit too much overlap on those CC chains actually. And Tychus actually able to just live through it. Odin is popped to try to help clean up the rest of this fort and the rest of the fight. I was trying to see if Tychus took Neo Steel Coating. He did indeed. I wonder at what point he was able to pop that. If he CC'd the whole time, then obviously you can't press that button. But if you are able to press Neo Steel, it turns Tychus surprisingly tanky. I mean, you get max spell armor for 4 seconds. It's a crazy amount of spell armor. All right, Murden's stuck for now in the Entomb. A lot of damage coming through and is able to be killed before the Dwarf tosses up again. Lammy is out on an island here and is definitely going to die. Probably booped by the Junkrat. I had my eyeballs somewhere else, so I didn't exactly see, but I assume that's what happened. And yeah. GG is just working on this, methodically working in on this middle keep. I keep trying to say GG Gaming, but then I realized that the gaming would be redundant if I did that. G Gaming. So pressure all over the map. Right now is the best time that Smoke is going to get for a long period of time to try to fight at even talent tiers, because as soon as 20s are reached, it's going to be a long, painful time, almost an insurmountable time to deal with Gambit Gaming if that does happen soon. But they'll have an Arcane Punisher to fight around if they want to make a fight happen. Oh, they do get their 16s, so I guess they needed 16s first, and then they can fight at the same tier. It's a little bit hard to fight past the Punisher just because it jumps on your face right away, but here comes the Light Bomb. Light Bomb hits onto 3 members, actually. Leap goes through, and that is a dead Lucio right off the bat. So fight starts off really well for Smoke. MJH has very low health here in the back, though, and the Punisher is just going to work. Does get a 2-man stun, and Murden has to Dwarf Toss out. Is just getting wailed on by John Cena there. So even with the really nice kill, really nice engage, it is only Lucio that falls, and looks like the keep at the top goes down, and the middle keep is still standing for now. Level 19s, level 16s. Smoke still has a little bit of a window to try to make something happen if they want. Hanzo's Dragon Arrow's up in 20 seconds if they want to fish for a fight there, but yeah, they're going to look to come in here and just take what they can get. Junkrat taking that camp just a little bit more annoying. Yeah, Falling Sword did get value there. It was enough CC to just straight up blow up Lucio, but I think if the Punisher hadn't have been there, Smoke could have done a lot more with that fight. But the Punisher did its job, and was really kind of a beast in that last fight. All right, level 20s are here, so we have a solid almost 2.5 levels that Smoke is going to have to deal with being down a talent. The engagement is sort of countered by Gambit Gaming there, so this will be a massive power play for Gambit Gaming. They're going to go for core. They've popped Odin. Let's see, is that upgraded Odin? It is indeed. Big red button. So they're just going to go siege away and try to get this team fight and close out game 2. Odin is taking a bunch of damage, however, and has to back up a little bit. Baby Whale down to 100 health, does get killed. MJH in the back trying to do what they can, but has almost no health. And the shield is gone. Now we've got Kata's on core. The core is just going down really quickly. And I think this is going to be the end of game 2, and it'll even up our series 1-1. GG, over to the side of GG. Well played. Yeah, so the shakeup in the drafts, I would say that GG was able to ban out, I mean, they literally banned the entire front line that they saw Smoke play last game. And then they were able to also get Johanna. So I'm going to just not overthink this draft too much and just say that alone was a very strong way to handle the draft. You know, you're able to pick up Johanna and get rid of the really strong frontliners from Smoke. And even though Smoke did have, I would say that they still had a way to hard engage with the light bomb deliveries, the leaps, and the dragon arrow, but they were more difficult to execute, and they were actually a lot either they were either fumbled or just straight up countered by Johanna Falling Sword, and that was kind of the story of those fights. So now that we've seen it go both ways, and I would say both ways, both teams have won a game very convincingly. So now we're going to really start to settle into how the rest of these matches are going to go. We are going to be on Battlefield of Eternity, however, so that definitely changes things up. We're going from big maps. I would say I still count Infernal Shrines as a big map, 3-lane map, down to a very team fighty, brawly 2-laner. But I am going to put you on a between games screen while I grab a couple of beverages and go to the restroom, and I'll see you guys shortly. Alrighty, I am back, and I think we'll be into a draft here in just 1 second. We have a series indeed, tied up 1-1. Both teams showing that they are capable of winning in decisive fashion against the other. So now we're going to see how these drafts are going to start to settle in. And which heroes are really going to be the ones that they choose to sort of ban away or prioritize against each other. If you're Gambit Gaming, yeah, I'd say you just stick with the strategy that worked the last time and make sure that the enemy doesn't get a Nubarak or Blaze. But if you're Smoke, you probably are not super happy with the way that last game went, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see a little bit of a shakeup in how they draft this one, especially since it is, like I was saying, a different style map. Everyone has to take into account the brawly nature of it. There's always the race to consider on the Immortals. But Brightwing is just not allowed to play the video game tonight, as Smoke is sticking to their guns in that regard. So no Blaze ban, but we do see a Li Ming ban instead. So maybe a Blaze first pick for Gambit Gaming if they still have Blaze on their mind. But they might have opted to let that one through. I don't know. We'll see. Blaze is not known to be a super amazing burn offlaner on this map, although that's not the end-all be-all by any means. So, okay, it is the Vala prioritized instead. So let's see, how does Smoke want to draft this? There's many ways many strategies you can go about it, but a lot of teams kind of, I don't know. I try to categorize it in terms of some teams go for a heavy race team, and some of them are a team fight. There's more categories than that. You can actually macro pretty well on this map, surprisingly, if you choose to go that route. But instead, we do have... so it looks like it's going to be kind of a team fight build for Smoke. They've locked in the ability to deliver a light bomb with Genji. It is almost impossible to really do anything about that. Genji basically just appears in your team with a light bomb, and then it goes off. So the only thing you could do is stay spread out, I suppose, and then have your healer try to save whoever does get hit. But I think getting Blaze and Uther here for GG is a huge pickup, huge counter engagement. Yeah, a lot of safety going to be out there for Vala. So I think it's going to be up to Smoke to draft something that can... I don't know, are they going to still go for the one-shot? If they try to one-shot Vala and Vala just gets de-shielded, then all of their efforts could be for nothing if all of their power is used up in those big kind of light bomb delivery moments. All right, Shonen going to pick up that Garrosh, and then Baby Whale on the Thrall. So... definitely a team fight build. I'm sensing some wave clear problems on the side of Smoke. Of course, Battlefield of Eternity is not a super heavy wave clear map, but you do need some. And right now, Smoke has one more pick to just sort of shore up that inefficiency. Junkrat picked up there, as well as Stukov. So Stukov right now on, or Northern Touch is hovering over that Stukov, so it's the Uther, I guess Uther main tank idea with the Stukov behind it. Used to see that a whole lot at higher levels, and I think it was Justing used to talk about Uther Stukov being a really good pair to match together if you're going to do the double healer route. So, by the way, Rinji picked up, and that's Zul'jin. Yeah, I think that this game is just straight up going to be won by Gambit Gaming unless Smoke is able to pull off, like it's basically, the way I'm seeing this is Smoke has to pull off the more difficult maneuvers to get the win. They're the ones that have the ball in their court, I would say, is because of the Genji, because of the light bomb. The burden of execution, I would say, is more on the side of Smoke. I guess that's probably the best way to say it. Best way to say what I'm thinking. So, on the right, we have Smoke. We've got MJH. Going to be playing that... what are you on, MJH? Oh, yeah, that's Genji. Baby Whale going to be on that Thrall. Renji going to be on the Zul'jin, Shonen on the Garrosh, and Lamy on the Anduin. On the other side, coming off of a big win that evened up the series, we've got Gambit Gaming, Krizo on the Stukov, Alfie on the Vala, Pearl Simon on the Junkrat, Northern Touch on your tank Uther, and Chelsea on the Blaze. Yeah, some spicy drafts here for sure. I would say the you don't get to see the double healer, double support all that often, so really happy to see that. But also the Genji Light Bomb delivery service is a fun one. Both teams have a late game scaling auto attacker in the Vala and the Zul'jin, so just depends on how much stacking they get done or how much room they have to work with. Zul'jin going for that recklessness level 1, however. So maybe, I don't know, is he going for more of a blow up? Oh, Shonen has to get pulled to safety there, as it was a massive slow. Garrosh, without his unstoppable, was just going to probably die there without that leap of faith. Ooh, Genji gets stunned and immediately killed. That is the power of the Uther into the Genji. Point and click. No shield for you. Or no deflect. I guess it's more of a deflect than a shield. Let's check on our offlaners. Baby Whale having a little bit of hard time sustaining against the Blaze. That's kind of as expected, I think. Yeah, Thrall's wave clear is pretty bad, especially early. Did go Echo of the Elements, so that'll help a little bit with that, but Blaze is just able to just consistently apply wave clear pressure, and you can see that this fort is already taking a beating. Throw goes on to Junkrat, but looks like there's not going to be enough follow-up before Junkrat's just able to track back to their to their mine and boop themselves away. This camp is not quite in range of the fort, unfortunately, so Blaze is going to have to do all the damage himself on that thing. Some race going down for the side of GG, whereas Renji's left by himself to go ahead and hit that Immortal. So, unsurprisingly, the 3 members of Gambit Gaming are able to race significantly faster than the one Zul'jin. Also, slight level lead already for GG. Nice boop onto the Zul'jin. Here comes Genji looking to harass the Uther there. Blaze looking for a flank, but gets found out by Baby Whale, as they're just going to trade blows into each other there. Junkrat gets thrown over the wall, but is able to just, once again, just kind of walk away. I did miss a kill onto Uther, and that was a big Blaze stun. So Genji picked up a kill onto the Uther somewhere. Renji just running down Pearl Simon there and just chunking. However, that death timer is just about up now, and the race there's still a lot of work left to do on their own Immortal over here if you're Smoke. So off to a good start with that kind of temporary team fight win. All right, so Gambit Gaming gets the first Immortal with about a 15% shield or so. So that little plus and the cooldown, I believe, is the healing fountain cooldown next to the portraits up there. So that whenever you see the plus up at the top on their name portraits, and if you just see the plus, they have a healing fountain available, and if it's on cooldown, then obviously it's on cooldown. Ooh, Garrosh gets super low, down to 200 health, but has that armor, is able to walk out of there. But this fort is definitely not long for the world. Anduin gets stunned and thrown to safety, but Genji getting to deflect a little bit. Goes actually aggressive with the dash. Probably ill-advised. Probably should have used that dash to go the other way to safety. Renji taking a bunch of damage, but no. I thought maybe if Vala had another vault Q, could have popped that kill, but... All right, so still about a half level, maybe 75% of a level lead for Gambit Gaming. But they do have an entire fort down, so one objective, one fort. That is good progress. Here comes 4 members up to the top lane from Smoke, but Blaze is safely full health and kind of... I mean, it is Blaze. Blaze is not the easiest to blow up. Garrosh goes in and gets the throw, so Chelsea no longer has a stun, but the team is there, so they're turning this fight a little bit. Junkrat, by the way, is going to use this opportunity to push this wave into the keep wall. So that is the sort of the risk of sending your entire team across the map, is that you don't have anybody to clean up the wave. Genji gets there in time, though, so no harm, no foul. Just a little bit of harm. Slight amount of harm. Okay, once again, both teams are sort of kind of allowing each other to race, and it's going in Gambit Gaming's favor big time. They are definitely able to race this faster than the Zul'jin's able to burn it. So now this is a good position for Smoke to defend. I think once Genji's done with cleanup duties down here, they'll probably look to get aggressive here with their level 10s. Let's check out those level 10s, by the way. We have Sundering, we have is that X-Strike? Yeah, X-Strike, Taz Dingo, Decimate, and Light Bomb against Flailing Swipes, Rain of Vengeance, Riptire. It is the Divine Shield and the Bunker. So between Bunker and Divine Shield, it will be pretty difficult to get a kill onto Vala or Junkrat. Here comes the unstoppable Garrosh. Gets a throw onto Uther, but immediate Riptire goes through, and Light Bomb Genji goes through with the D-Shield, goes immediately onto Vala. So Vala's still full health after that engage. So really heads up D-Shield there by Uther. Decimate going through, doing a bunch of damage, but Smoke just is running out of life on all of their health bars. They turned a bunch of damage back the other way, but they just didn't have the health to continue. And so Gambit Gaming was able to turn that momentum back around. Honestly, it really... I would still call that a pretty close fight for both, Smoke... got some people pretty low, but the defensive capabilities of this double support plus bunker build that Gambit Gaming has is just it's kind of built to survive this kind of all-in engage. So yeah, I think it's going to be really difficult for Smoke to get any one-shot value from the light bombs at least. Of course, that's not their only tool. They can do Garrosh throws. They've got good consistent damage from the Zul'jin, so they don't completely rely on that Genji delivery service, but Uther is underrated. Yeah, I think he is. He is underrated. I think a lot of teams have a hard time finding a place to put him in their drafts because of his I don't know. He's got like early game mana issues and then maybe team fight sustain. Plus, it may just be another consequence of having such strong alternatives in like the Rhaegar and the Brightwing in particular. Like Rhaegar and Anduin or Brightwing are like just OP, and then Anduin is kind of OP in a different way. But yeah, I do agree. I think I wish we would see Uther a little bit more often. He is pretty strong. Talent check? Yeah, let's do a talent check. Level 13's not quite there for Smoke. But we will have Gloom adding to the defensive capabilities of Vala. Like Vala, I think it's as long as Uther is paying attention, like it's like pretty much impossible to kill Vala within the first volley of cooldowns. Like it's just not going to happen unless, like I said, unless the team really gets split up. Here comes Light Bomb, delivered onto 4 members of GG. So here comes the bunker goes down, and Vala got a little bit low in the back, but is instantly healed up by the double supports approach. And now the silence, the Garrosh has to get pulled to safety, and it is the backline, however, falling. Genji and Thrall able to get the kills onto the backline of Gambit Gaming, and the caster curse has paid off. I was sitting there saying that Vala would be impossible to kill, and now we have a dead Vala. Some would say that I did that on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. But that is classic, though. As soon as you say something that you're kind of sure about, it will be proven wrong right away. But overall, that was an amazing fight. Really well coordinated by Smoke there. And I do think that the burden of execution is on them for each of these team fights. So if they're able to pull off more like that, they'll be in good shape. That started off with a 4-man Genji Light Bomb delivery. So, and even then, the kills didn't come until the second wave. Oh, lots of bursts going on Renji. Renji's caught out there for sure. Good heads-up aggression there by Alfie and Chelsea to get the kill there onto the Zul'jin. Leap of Faith having to be used to pull Garrosh out. Garrosh getting super low, and yeah, you can tell the members of Gambit Gaming are out for revenge after that team fight, as they just came back with a vengeance. Oh, D-Shield wasn't up until after. Well, there you go. So it's a cooldown thing. Oh, this is going to be a dead Genji, I think. There's just the Immortal stun on top of Blaze stun on top of Uther. Like, that Genji was just never going to get to move after that initial engage. Oh my goodness. Blaze taking a bunch of damage, but I mean, golly, you just see how much armor spread is going on from the 2 supports, and then just raw healing numbers coming out. And here we go. We've got a little bit, 25% shield Immortal, but the keep is super low, so this is going to be a dead keep, almost for sure. I don't think that there's any way they burn the Immortal before it reaches that keep. And then, yeah, Smoke has to keep an eye out on the bottom one. All it needs is 1 catapult to reach that one. and that'll be 2 keeps dead. So I don't know if you're Smoke. Maybe you just try to fight behind. But, oh, it is Gambit Gaming finding the Garrosh and popping the kill right away. And I'm going to say that that opens the door to, they might actually be able to just end the game here. If they're able to play aggressively here and get another pick, it'll be the end of the game. Genji and Thrall trying to see everything they can do, just trying to apply as much damage as possible. Leap of Faith used on the Zul'jin. But the core's already completely out of life. Look at that, just getting completely chunked by the Immortal and that catapult in the back. And that is GG, going over to GG. Game number 2. Gambit Gaming just being so aggressive after game 1. I think maybe they got woken up after game 1 and just felt like they needed to maybe come out and prove something. And prove it they have been. There were definitely some good moments there for Smoke. They had that one big team fight win. But overall, the draft was just always going to be difficult for Smoke. They did not have very good wave clear at all. And they had this sort of kind of all-in burst strategy that was always going to be difficult into a Divine Shield. Like even if they didn't have the Stukov flailing swipe and the additional Stukov utility, like just D shield alone makes it difficult to clean up kills. And then you add the Stukov on top of that, and it's like, wow, tough team to play into. Garrosh was constantly having to. It's like Garrosh would go in and do what they could, and then I feel like the amount of times Garrosh was super slow, having to just walk away with a Stukov puddle, silence puddle underneath them, and Anduin's just like watching, just like, okay, are you going to need to? No, you need help. And just has to use the Leap of Faiths because Garrosh can't go anywhere. Alrighty, so another win in the Gambit Gaming category. 2-1. And our next map will be on Alterac Pass. Back to the big maps. So yeah, Smoke won game 1 on Garden of Terror. Maybe that's their thing, is that they'll be able to play a little bit more in their comfort zone on a big map. Gossamer says Smoke won in the first matchup on this map. Oh, won the first game in the matchup. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it did look like a miserable Garrosh game. Sometimes it goes like that. Garrosh can feel really OP at times, but if you're constantly being slowed and the enemy team is just peppering you the whole time, it feels really bad. I mean, you can only unstoppable for so long. And then, I think the Blaze, like Smoke prioritized getting the Anduin Genji in their first 2 picks, and then I think that allowed Gambit Gaming to just counter pick. They like that just telegraphs exactly what your style of play is going to be. There's only so many ways to finish the draft when you go Anduin Genji. And so, yeah, Gambit Gaming was able to set up a perfect counter to that, picking up the Uther, and they were able to get the Blaze. So maybe a little bit too quick on the draw with that Genji Anduin pickup. If they'd have gone for the Blaze first, and then held on to that Genji, maybe, I don't know. Everything's easier in hindsight to call stuff like that, though. All right, so this map was picked by Smoke, it looks like. Unless that changes. Or, hang on. Now I'm confused. Yeah. Yeah, picked by... Who picked last game? Who had first pick? I think Gambit Gaming had first pick, right? Because they first picked Vala. Yeah. All right, this will be a do or die game for Smoke. Down 2-1 in the series, but the good news is they do have a map, and so if they are able to return fire and get a win here, then they'll be evened up.